Hi everybody and welcome, this is the Apostate Prophet. There is currently a lot going on because David Wood ate the Quran, or to be precise, he ate a page of the Quran, the most important chapter of the Quran, which Muslims recite every day. And because that happened during a live stream where I and Abdullah Samir were present too, Muslims are currently very outraged about this act. Now, to be honest, I don't think that eating the Quran is the best thing that you could do with the Quran. I think that there are better things that you could do. For example, you could urinate on the Quran, which is why I want to do that right now. Just kidding. I'm not doing it. It's right here. I have not urinated into it. It didn't happen. Look, the page is quite safe. This is the page that David Wood ate. I wouldn't do that. Primarily because urinating on a YouTube video is probably not allowed. Would I eat it? I don't know. I don't think I would want to pollute my mouth, to be very honest. Anyway, the point of this video is that people are currently very outraged about the fact that somebody ate the Quran. And there is a huge hypocrisy in this. I saw videos made by people showing how a Christian eats the Quran and ex-Muslims laugh. People are outraged about this. And I'm just thinking, give me a break, people. Are you kidding me? People who are outraged about David Wood eating a page of the Quran are the same people who are not outraged or who are even supportive of somebody glorifying and advocating the killing of someone, the harassment, the doxing, or the rape of other people. People are taking out this little excerpt from our live stream where David Wood ate a page of the Quran.
John, do you really think we can't escalate? Do you? My goodness. Do you really think that you want to go this route?
But they are doing that very selectively, because what happened right before that is that I had a rant about the fact that Mohammed Hijab is making public tweets in which he makes veiled implications of rape against my wife. And this guy is speaking about my wife. He's speaking of himself and his entire Muslim community on Twitter. He is implying that you tough Muslim men, a woman is here going on her knees and all the proud Muslim men are going and sexually violating her. This is what is being implied here. This is the imagery here. This is what you stand for. This represents all of you wicked perverts. They're mental slaves to the sexual perversion that the 7th century savage has created, that they let this out in such a violent, hostile way.
Whatever you did, I mean, you've exposed hijab for what he really is.
After he also made implications about capturing and raping Islamophobic women or anti-Muslim women. Right before David Wood suddenly ate the Quran, I had a very big rant about how people are such hypocrites that Mohammed Hijab can seriously go here and talk about the brave Muslim soldiers on Twitter collectively raping a woman for disrespecting Islam, and how none of his dear Muslim apologist friends and followers condemn him for that and distance themselves from him, how they are still associating with him. And right after that, we briefly talked about how he quickly made a post about David Wood's wife.
So this is Mohammed Hijab says, Mary Wood, David's wife, a public figure who has her own content. Here she is between two men. So notice, because my wife is in the middle seat, Hijab posts, here she is between two men. Between two men? Oh, you know what that means in Islam. AP, so we have that post with me. We have this post against you, which me and Abdullah, we didn't catch on. This is all directed to your... Yeah, see, look.
Over the last 2 weeks, Mohammed Hijab has consistently harassed people, harassed ex-Muslims and their wives, because their ex-Muslim husbands criticize Islam. He implied that disbelievers are like cattle. He said, I believe certain anti-Muslim women would wish they lived in the medieval period, a period where if a war was won by the opposing side, it was conventional that people could be taken as booty. What he's implying here is that he thinks anti-Muslim women would actually like to be captured and sexually used by Muslim men like himself. He told me to commit suicide and later justified that, saying what is wrong with wishing death upon people, according to your moral philosophy. which just shows that he has no idea how moral philosophy works. He said that we apostates, ex-Muslims, were slaves, and that he and Muslims like him would confront our masters, which are the liberal white man. He incited targeted harassment against me and my wife by saying, I call upon all of the Muslim Twitter soldiers to work within the full scope of the law to create maximum damage to the cause of Apis and his public figure with a bitch. Apis is supposed to be me and a bitch is supposed to be my wife. This is how he's talking about people. They are demoralized and on the ropes. Do not let the weak-minded Muslims deter you. Finish them. He's only adding to work within the full scope of the law here in order to get away with this. But you can't say, I encourage you to harass people, but do it legally. Because harassment is not legal. It doesn't matter if you add legally to it or not. The law is not stupid like you. As a result of this, I received a lot of very disgusting and dirty messages and comments, and so did my wife, which are by no means legal. And finally, the point of everything here. When these anti-Muslim attention whore Islamophobes need to get on their knees in intellectual submission before they are whipped by freedom of speech by the Twitter Muslims, and they reluctantly open their mouth in protestation to find that they have been defiled by truth. The imagery that Muhammad Hijab is painting here in relation to my wife and other women who are against Islam is that these Islamophobic women should get on their knees in intellectual submission. Just remove the intellectual here. He's just adding that to make it veiled. That they are whipped by the strong Twitter Muslim men and they reluctantly open their mouth unwillingly and they are defiled. What Muhammad Hijab is trying to get at here is that these brave Twitter Muslim men are sexually violating these Islamophobic women. So what Muhammad Hijab is talking about here is that his brave Muslim Twitter people will rape the Islamophobic women. That's basically what it is, to be very frank. And as a result of this, David Wood ate the Quran. 0 Muslims were outraged about this. Numerous Muslims were outraged about David Wood eating the Quran.
I make fun of your prophet, but I make fun of your prophet because he's, as far as I can tell, the most horrible person in the history of humanity. I make fun of him because I believe it's a peaceful way of responding to a horrible, horrible person. I don't want people killing and slaughtering over this stuff. But look, Hijab, you're the one who's saying, they're criticizing Muhammad. They're criticizing the Prophet, therefore we will attack their wives. Dude, you seem to think, well, they did it, therefore I can escalate, and you seem to think that we can't escalate. Are you serious?
And on top of all of this, of course, Ali Dawa just declared that I deserve to be killed in an ideal world, and people like me deserve to be put to death, and the Muslims should proudly watch. And Muhammad Hijab celebrated that and approved of it, like he did before.
People like you, little weaklings who leave their religion and cause corruption in the land by spreading it, the capital punishment in Islamic law would be applied to you. We have no doubt, and we're proud of that. And we, you know what, we'll be watching. You individual wanting your right to freedom, which is BS. Absolutely BS, yeah?
This guy who works together with Muhammad Hijab and who is his friend even makes a video response in which he says he would never disrespect the Bible, for example.
We don't do that. We don't stoop to your level.
But he wants to cancel David Wood for eating the Quran. This guy also says that I have apparently lost my humanity when I left Islam because I laughed when David Wood ate the Quran.
Laughing and joking. I don't think Islam is the only thing you guys left behind. I think you left behind your humanity and your common sense as well.
Whereas he didn't do anything in response to Muhammad Hijab making veiled rape threats, harassing people, doxing people, and approving of the killing of people. Funnily enough, he says that I left my humanity behind when I left Islam, when according to his worldview I shouldn't even be left alive after leaving Islam. What a fantastic logic. Great humanity you have there, buddy. And he says that if one of his friends had done something like this,
if I was on a podcast with Ali and Muhammad Hijab, I would immediately call them out on it and they would do the same to me. Fact.
When funnily enough, he didn't say anything in response to his dear friend Ali Dawa calling for my killing and his dear friend Muhammad Hijab approving of that and also making veiled rape glorifications, just like all his other friends. You know what the problem is here? The problem is that you people approve of implications of capturing and raping people, of harassing, doxing and threatening people, and of putting people to death for their opinions. but you are outraged about somebody eating a page of paper. You don't care at all about human life, whereas you are outraged about paper and tint. This is a simple summary of the entire problem of your community, of all of you, that you care more about paper than you care about human life and human freedom. But I have to be very honest here. This is not only the problem of that community or of Muslims, it's also the problem of the rest of us. We are seriously watching as these Muslim apologists go around harassing, threatening people, doxing people, being an actual threat to people and inciting violence, and then we see how they are outraged and complain because somebody ate a page of a book. A page of a book, by the way, that calls me and every single person who disbelieves in Islam the worst of creatures, the worst of creation, deaf, dumb, and blind, worse than cattle, and deserving of destruction and humiliation and death. The entire problem is that people are seriously upset about eating a piece of paper, whereas they are not upset about all of that. You hypocrites. And Muslims who are not even slightly angered about any of that stuff, but who are then outraged about eating the Quran, really expect the world to believe that they are the good guys, and really act like they have no idea why people have such negative thoughts about Islam. Well, guess why? If the rape advocate thinks that all of this will end just because he wants to move on, I would like to disappoint him because I have something coming in that will be great for him. It's called The End of Muhammad Hijab, which will show his cowardice, his complete lack of logic, his huge ignorance and misunderstanding of things that he claims to be an expert on, his readiness to lie to his own people, his moral inconsistencies, and so on. Thanks for watching. I will be back. Have a great day and stay away from Islam.
It's now time for you to come out and condemn his action. Now it's your turn.